Hello and welcome to Business News. Here are some of the stories we are tracking for you at this time. Total assets in the Nigerian banking sector rose by 11.8 billion naira in 1 year to 65.48 trillion naira as of the end of June 2022, representing a 22% increase over the period. The Deputy Governor, Financial System Stability Directorate, Aisha Ahmed, disclosed this in a statement at the last MPC meeting. She said gross credit had maintained an upward trajectory since 2019, rising by 5.02 trillion naira between June 2021 and June 2022, with significant growth in credits to manufacturing, general commerce and oil and gas sectors. The increase, she said, was achieved amidst continued decline in oil-performing loans ratio from 5.3% in April 2022 to 5.0% in June 2022. A member of the MPC, Kingsley Obiora, also said the financial soundness indicators showed that the banking system remained sound, stable, and resilient. Now to other stories. The value points of sale transactions in Nigeria has jumped 39% to 8.03 trillion naira in 2022. That's according to data obtained from the Nigeria Interbank Settlement System. Well, the data showed that the aggregate POS transactions between July 2020 and July 21 were estimated at 5.77 trillion naira. However, between July 2021 and July 2022, the volume of transactions increased to 8.03 trillion naira, indicating a 39.16% increase over the period. Now, POS transactions increased from a total volume of 921.19 million naira between July 2020 and July 2021 to 1.20 billion naira from July 2021 to July 2022. According to the agency, July recorded the highest number of POS transactions registered at 2.06 million naira in just 1 month. And amid the federal government's 250 billion naira intervention funds on the National Gas Expansion Plan, which intends to deepen usage across the country, data from the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics say on a year-on-year basis, a price of refilling a 12.5 kg cylinder of liquefied petroleum gas, also known as cooking gas, increased by 122% from 4,422 naira in July 2021. The NBS latest reports disclosed that on a state profile analysis, Ebonyi recorded the highest average retail price for the refilling of a 12.5 kg cylinder with 11,212 naira, followed by Delta with 10,926 naira and Ekiti State with 10,883 naira. On the other hand, the lowest average price was recorded in Katsina State with 8,355 naira, followed by Yobe and Kano State with 8,383 naira and 8,614 naira respectively. According to the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Mele Kyari, more than 70% of the over 200 million Nigerian population lacked access to clean cooking fuels. And to other stories now. The Naira appreciated to 701 Naira per dollar at the close of August from over 703 Naira per dollar on Wednesday, as at the last weekend it exchanged for 698 Naira to a dollar. But according to the P2P foreign currency segment, compared to the same time it traded yesterday, the Naira was exchanged at 703 Naira, revealing the total local currency appreciated at 2 Naira against the US dollar. Meanwhile, in the unregulated markets, which is also the black markets, currency traders in Lagos disclosed that the dollar to Naira is exchanged at 700 Naira per dollar, indicating a flat rate when compared to the value it traded as of the time yesterday and the day before. On the international scene now, Asian stocks slid and the dollar spiked today as investors greeted September by selling everything that was not nailed down after a month battered by concerns about aggressive rate hikes from global policy makers. MSCI's broadest index of Asia-Pacific shares outside Japan slumped 1.6% to the lowest in 6 weeks as risk sentiment took a turn for the worse. Japan's Nikkei dropped by 1.7% and Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index fell 1.5%, while Chinese blue chips eked out 0.1% gain, anchored by hopes for more economic stimulus from Beijing. The sell-off looks set to hit European market, with the pan-region Euro Stoxx 550 futures falling 0.9%. The German DAX futures was down to 0.86%, and FTSE futures was also down 0.64% lower. S&P 500 futures dropped 0.7%, while Nasdaq futures declined by 1.2%. And amid weakening demand, China's factory activity contracted for the first time in 3 months in August, while power shortages and fresh COVID-19 flare-ups disrupted production. According to reports, China's Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index for the month of August slid to 49.5 in August from 50.4 in July, missing analysts' expectations for 50.2. China's economy narrowly escaped contraction last quarter due to widespread COVID-19 lockdowns, while demand remained bleak, with sub-indexes of new orders and new export orders returning to contraction following 2 months of expansion. In Sri Lanka, the country has reached a preliminary agreement with the International Monetary Fund (IFM) for a loan of about $2.9 billion as the country seeks a way out of its worst economic crisis in decades. According to the IMF, the conditions for the loan include receiving financing assurances from Sri Lanka's official creditors and efforts by the country to reach an agreement with private creditors. The global lender also noted that its program was spread over 4 years with the aim to boost government revenue, encourage fiscal consolidation, introduce new pricing for fuel and electricity, hike social spending, bolster central bank autonomy, and rebuild depleted foreign reserves. Sri Lanka's current financial turmoil, its worst since the country's independence from Britain in 1948, stems from economic mismanagement as well as the COVID-19 pandemic that has wiped out the country's key tourism industry, as the country is faced with acute shortages of fuel and other basic goods for months, stocking unprecedented protests that forced a change in the government of Sri Lanka. And to wrap things off on business news, oil prices on the international market dropped today as investors are worried that aggressive interest rate hikes from global policymakers will slow economies and dent fuel demand, while renewed restrictions to curb COVID-19 in China has added pressure. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude recorded a price drop of 1.70% to hit $88.03 per barrel. Brent crude now sells at $94.01 per barrel, registering a downward price margin of 1.70%. Bonnie Light's trading value is valued at the red zone, selling at $98.46 per barrel with a price decline of 2.73%. For the OPEC basket, crude oil trade value is at $106.40 per barrel with a price surge of 1.49%.